The room was full of people, but she had never felt more alone. Then her son laughed, not the kind of laugh that slips out, the kind that is meant to hurt. It echoed sharp, cruel. Her heart skipped, her breath caught. She looked at him, her own child, the boy she once held at night when he cried. He lifted his glass, smiling like this was entertainment. "So this is the man you married," he said. "This is what you replaced my father with." The silence after that was loud. Every eye turned toward her, some with pity, some with judgment. She felt heat rise to her face. Her hands trembled. The man beside her stood still, trying to protect her with his presence, even though he was the one being attacked. She wanted to apologize to him, not for marrying him, but for bringing him into this moment. Her mind drifted back to the years nobody saw, the years she woke up before sunrise, made breakfast, packed lunches, worked clean, smiled. The years she swallowed her own dreams, because motherhood came first. When her husband died, she stayed strong for her son. She cried alone so he wouldn't see. When he grew up, married, built a life, she stepped aside, because that's what mothers do. She never complained, never asked for much, just a call, just a visit, just to be remembered. Loneliness crept in slowly, like a shadow at sunset, until one day someone noticed her. He listened, really listened. He didn't care about her past. He cared about her presence. He held her hand, not tightly, gently, and for the first time in years she felt safe. That's why she married him, not for money, not for revenge, not to replace anyone, but because she deserved happiness. Her son didn't see that. All he saw was loss, control slipping, attention divided. His wife leaned closer, her smile thin, her voice sweet and sharp. "Guess everyone gets desperate eventually." That word desperate, it hit harder than the laughter. Something inside her snapped, not loudly, not violently, quietly. She straightened her back, lifted her chin. She looked at her son, and for the first time, she didn't see a child, she saw a man, afraid of losing power. And in that moment, she chose herself, not silence, not shame herself. She took a slow breath, the kind you take when you know something is about change. Her eyes stayed on her son, not angry, not crying, calm. That calm confused him. He expected tears. He expected her to break. Instead, she smiled, not a weak smile, a steady one. She turned slightly. Her hand rested on her husband's arm, and in that small movement she made a choice. She would not let this moment destroy them. The guests shifted in their seats, waiting, watching. Her son laughed again, trying to keep control. "Relax everyone," he said. "I'm just being honest." She remembered how many times she had swallowed honesty. For his comfort, she stepped forward. Her voice was soft, but it carried. "I didn't replace your father," she said. "No one ever could." The room went silent again. "I didn't marry this man to erase the past. I married him because I was alone. And he treated me with kindness." Her son rolled his eyes. "Kindness doesn't make him family," he said. She nodded slowly. "You're right," she replied. "Family is not a title. It's behavior." That sentence landed. Some people looked at her son, some looked away. His wife crossed her arms, her smile gone now. She felt her heart pounding, but she didn't stop. "4 years I lived for you," she said. "I stayed strong when your father died, so you wouldn't fall apart. I stayed silent when you forgot to call, so you wouldn't feel guilty. I stepped back when you built your life, so you wouldn't feel crowded." Her voice trembled, but she kept going. "I never asked you for permission to breathe." A murmur spread through the room. Her son's face tightened. "This isn't the place for this," he snapped. She looked around, at the decorations, the flowers, the people. "You're right," she said. "This was supposed to be a celebration." She turned to her husband, squeezed his hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered. He shook his head, proud, supportive. Her son felt it then. The room was no longer on his side. He tried to laugh again, but it didn't land, because something had shifted. Respect, not given, taken back. She stepped beside her husband, not behind him, and for the first time everyone saw it. She was not a woman begging for approval. She was a woman choosing dignity, and her son, he wasn't ready for what that meant. Her son felt it slipping, not loudly, not suddenly, but enough to scare him. People were no longer laughing, no longer avoiding eye contact. They were watching him, the way people watch someone who has gone too far. He cleared his throat, tried to regain control. "You are embarrassing yourself," he said. The words sounded weak even to him. She looked at him, really looked, and saw something she had ignored for years. Fear. Not fear of losing her, fear of losing authority. She spoke again, slow, measured. "I was embarrassed," she said. "Every time you forgot my birthday, every time weeks passed without a call, every time I heard about your life from someone else." A quiet gasp moved through the room. His wife shifted beside him, whispered something sharp. He clenched his jaw. "This is manipulation," he snapped. "You always play the victim." She nodded gently. I played the victim, because I was one. The words landed hard. Her husband stepped closer, not to speak, just to stand with her. That simple act did more than any speech. The guests began to murmur. Not gossip, understanding. Someone in the back said softly, "She deserves happiness." He heard it. His face flushed. "You think this man loves you," he said. "He just wants what you have." She didn't laugh. She didn't argue. She answered with truth. "If he wanted what I have," she said, "he would have left a long time ago. Because what I had was loneliness." Silence filled the space again. His wife stepped forward, voice sharp, defensive. "We are just worried about you," she said. "People will talk." She met her eyes. "People have always talked," she replied. "I just stopped listening." That was the moment. The power left them, not dramatically, not publicly. Internally he felt small. Not because his mother attacked him, but because she didn't need his approval anymore. He opened his mouth to say something cruel, something final, but nothing came out, because cruelty needs permission, and she had taken it away. She turned away from him. Not angry, not broken, complete. She faced the room, smiled softly. "Thank you for being here," she said, "for celebrating love at any age." Applause started, slow then stronger. Not for drama, for courage. Her son stood there clapping last, realizing too late he hadn't lost a moment. He had lost his place, and that loss was just beginning. The applause faded, but the weight of it stayed. Her son stood still, hands cold, chest tight. For the first time he felt invisible. People moved on, smiling, congratulating her, congratulating the man he mocked. No one came to him that hurt more than anger. He watched his mother laugh, a real laugh, the kind he hadn't seen in years, and it confused him. She was supposed to be ashamed. She was supposed to need him. Instead she looked free. His wife leaned close, whispering fast, annoyed. "This is getting out of hand." She said, "You should say something." He nodded, but his feet didn't move, because something inside him was cracking. He remembered being a child, holding her hand, feeling safe somewhere along the way. He stopped seeing her as a person. She was just there, expected, guaranteed. And now she wasn't. Later that evening, when guests began to leave, he finally approached her. Not confident, not loud, careful. "You didn't have to do that," he said. She looked at him, soft, tired. "I didn't do anything to you," she replied. "I spoke for myself." That sentence stayed with him. Her husband stepped away, giving them space, a courtesy he hadn't given earlier. "You humiliated me," he said. She shook her head. "No, I survived humiliation," she said. "Today I chose dignity." He didn't know how to respond, because dignity doesn't argue. People passed by, smiling at her, thanking her. Each smile reminded him the world hadn't ended, it had moved. Without him that night, when the lights dimmed and the hall emptied, he sat alone, scrolling through his phone. Photos, memories, pictures of a woman, always standing behind him, cheering, supporting. He realized something painful. He never asked her if she was happy. Not once. Regret doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives quietly when it's too late to undo things. He looked up across the room. She was dancing slowly, laughing with someone who chose her, and in that moment he understood. He hadn't lost his mother, he had pushed her away. And now he didn't know if she would ever step back. The music slowed, lights softened. The night came to an end, but for him, something had just begun. Days passed. He expected a call, a message, anything. None came. For the first time in his life, his mother wasn't waiting at home. Silence felt different, not peaceful. Empty. His wife complained, blamed, mocked. She made jokes about the wedding, about the man, about his mother, and each joke hit differently now because he remembered her face. Not angry, not weak, calm. That calm haunted him one evening. He drove past her old house. Out of habit, lights were off. She no longer lived there. That truth settled in his chest. She had moved on without asking permission. Weeks later he finally went to see her. Not confident, not proud, just desperate. She opened the door. Surprised but not shaken, her husband stood behind her, respectful, silent. "I didn't come to argue," he said. She waited. "I came to say I was wrong." The words felt heavy but real. "I thought I was protecting my place," he continued. "I didn't realize I was hurting you." She listened, no interruption, no judgment. When he finished she spoke. "I didn't need an apology," she said. "I needed respect." Tears filled his eyes. "I see that now," he whispered. She nodded. "I love you," she said, "but love without respect is control." Those words changed him, not instantly but permanently. She stepped aside, letting him in, not as a victory, not as forgiveness, as a possibility. Life didn't reset, it realigned. He learned to call, to ask, to listen. And she learned she no longer needed permission to live. At family gatherings he stood beside her. Not in front, he introduced her husband. With pride, and sometimes when she laughed he felt relief, because the woman he almost lost was still there, just stronger. And he finally understood a mother's love is endless, but her silence should never be mistaken for weakness. She didn't break that day, she rose. And everyone learned what happens when a woman finally chooses herself.